Ryogi gets a killer facial tattoo that even Mike Tyson would be envious of. Break out the banner, beat the drum. The Byakuya gang arc is finally done. I have to say, it ended exactly the way that we all predicted it would, with the villain being stopped and learning, of course, that Gekko has been manipulating Ryogi this entire time, a la Zabuza and Haku. Except this time, it's not as interesting. That being said, I love the setting of this episode of Boruto. I mean, it's unlike anything that we've actually seen in the series. A ninja battle on a train, and while we have seen trains in the series, take the very first Naruto movie, for example, I just loved watching them battle atop the car, going through each of the individual cars, and utilizing a lot of really cool ninja techniques. Which is to say, more of the same, but really Ryogi was the one who was just the star of this episode right here. There was some animation in this episode which looked really solid and actually added a lot to the emotional impact of this episode, which was Ryogi getting over the fact that he's actually been controlled by a genjutsu this entire time. See, Gekko sort of has the ability to put these cursed seals on people which can unleash their superpowered abilities, as well as utilizing genjutsu through the form of mirrors or reflective surfaces. At least that's what it meant to me, anyway. The point is, Ryogi is able to be controlled by Gekko, and he's able to make it seem like he's actually fighting against the person that killed his family. And, of course, Boruto and Shikadai are right in the headlights. And that leads to a lot of really great scenes. In fact, the big confrontation between Shikadai and Ryogi is definitely the best thing about this episode right here. Maybe that and the sudden appearance of Naruto in this episode, which was just all sorts of awesome. I wish we could have seen a lot more than that, but honestly, considering how little he was in this episode and how fast he acted, is just a testament to how insanely godlike powerful Naruto has actually become. And it's weird to consider him like a second fiddle in this series, considering that he was the main character before, especially because Boruto's being very serious about focusing on the main character here. It's not like at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z where they tried to make Gohan the brand new character to sort of prime him up to be the new guy and put Goku to the sidelines. Eventually Goku returned, but here I really don't see Naruto really playing that much larger of a role aside from appearing a few times, maybe having a few cool new action scenes. They really are trying to focus on the new generation, and I do appreciate that. But the core of this episode comes from the confrontation between Shikadai and Ryogi, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's filled with more of that dime store symbolism that the Naruto series is known for. Like, take this for example. The episode opens up with Boruto and Shikadai being trapped in this massive, like, chunk of ice. It's actually not a chunk at all. It's actually like a cage of ice, and they're trapped inside, and it casts genjutsus on them. Shikadai knows how to release it, so he gets them out of there. They confront Ryogi. Before this happens, there is a scene where his curse seal is being manipulated by Gekko, and he ends up dropping this pouch which has the shogi piece that he got from Shikadai in there, and it says pawn on it. Of course it's that one, but later on in the episode, Shikadai and Ryogi are on top of the train while it's moving, and they're having a really cool ninja battle, and Ryogi ends up just destroying everything, and Shikadai falls down, manages to not only get crushed by all of the debris and ice, but manages to land directly on top of the shogi piece, which is right in his hand, which says pawn, which goes along with the entire theme of the episode. It's just one of those planet aligning moments that I understand what they're going for, but the execution is just kind of lazy and sloppy. I don't know. And like I said, this is nothing new for the Naruto franchise. They do this type of symbolism all the time, whether it's your stereotypical water ripple or Sasuke stepping on a leaf. It's just something that the series loves doing. So if you're able to get past that sort of cheesiness, you can enjoy this one. It's really good, and it comes to, like I said, a pretty simple conclusion with Ryogi going crazy with his power, Shikadai bringing him back to his senses, and then at the very end of the episode, it looks like Gekko is going to escape after even killing one of his teammates, revealing basically that, yes, he is an epic douchebag. We all knew it the entire time, and he's been the one behind everything. But as it looks like he's about to get away, suddenly, in the darkness, you see this glowing yellow. And it is, of course, Naruto, who simply just stands there, looking awesome, and you get to see this massive blinding light, and that's it. Gekko is defeated. There's no way he's taken down Naruto, and like I said, I have to admit, that scene was really epic. That combined with a lot of the really great animation choices from this episode, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the rundown of this week's episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. This was probably my least favorite arc of Boruto. That doesn't make it absolutely terrible. In fact, I'm actually sort of shocked by how good these side stories and these fillers are for this series, because they're completely watchable and they feature characters that are surprisingly likable. I want to see Ryogi in the future. I have a feeling that he could be someone really cool to add in the story, due to the fact that he has a unique ability and a complex relationship with Shikadai, which borders on I don't even know. But honestly, it leads to a lot of great emotion and drama, which is fueled in this arc right here. And of course, the big theme of this one is that not everything is always black and white. It's the type of storytelling we see all the time in these type of series, especially Naruto. So it's not really like breaking ground with the story that it's telling, but the imagery, a lot of it is fresh and new, and I really love it. The big battle on the train was really awesome. I especially loved seeing Ryogi go crazy and seeing this like weird curse seal, very similar to what Orochimaru used to do back in the day to all of his victims, like Sasuke in the Sound 4. You get to see like the tattoo sort of slowly going up his arm and across his face as he's freaking out, and all of these giant ice shards are just exploding around him and just erupting from the ground. It's really great stuff. Honestly, that combined with the lighting of this train scene honestly made it a very striking sequence, which is something that I really loved about this episode. I wish they could have done a little bit more with that in this arc. That being said, and I've even said this in some of my previous reviews of this arc right here, there are some visual elements in this arc which truly heighten everything about this one right here and add a lot of really great atmosphere, and it's all themed around sunsets and ice, and that's because these two colors just pop off of each other in the coolest ways possible. And I knew that they were going to play up that a little bit more when we finally got to see Ryogi in action a little bit more. We finally got to see him go all out in this episode, and the look of his ice attacks all looked really cool and a little different than some of the ones that we saw in the past, similar to Haku in many senses. I'm not going to lie, I was almost ready to be disappointed when I saw when Shikadai and Boruto were trapped. I was like, oh no, is this basically just the crystal ice mirrors which were used by Haku? Luckily, it ended up being something completely different, and not much of an obstacle overall, as they were basically able to just claw their way through with their freaking kunai knives. But still, it was still a nice looking scene. And most importantly, Boruto, in this episode, did not steal Shikadai's thunder. I mean, he was a supporting character, and he was helping him out quite a bit, but it was really a story about Shikadai and Ryogi, which I really loved. I thought they were going to go the route that they were sort of setting up, with Boruto taking down Gekko, which would have been unrealistic and kind of strange going up against such a experienced ninja, even though he's done it in the past. It made more sense for Shikadai to complete this story and give him an actual story arc, characterization, depth. That's something that we got from Shikadai in this arc right here, and something that is sorely missing from the manga version of Boruto. We really don't know much about his character at all in the printed pages, but in the anime form, it just explodes. And even just the little things, not just the cool action scenes, the interactions that Shikadai has with Boruto. You really get to see the really tight friendship that they have as they playfully talk to each other during these battles, and even Boruto sort of like chiming in and saying, hey, once we get through this, you're gonna have to owe me a burger. It's just little moments like this that you can see that these two characters truly are fleshed out and they are friends. I really liked it. And like I said, we could see Ryogi again in the future. Gekko gets caught, Ryogi gets caught, they get thrown in jail. But considering how young he is and how he was manipulated, I have a feeling that we probably will see him again. How important he's going to be, the rest of the story is unknown. Especially because we're about to move into some big territory. And it's even hinted at a little bit in this episode right here with Professor Katasuke. When they get back to him, he is talking about this ninja tool technology, which is going to take center stage in the next couple arcs of the series and could very well change the world of Naruto as we know it. But this episode right here was a pretty solid conclusion to an okay arc. In my opinion, of course. I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 5. Predictable, but it looked pretty good while it was doing it, I have to admit. If anything, the Boruto anime series has had much better production than Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. It just looks better in almost every single sense. That's not to say that it doesn't have crappy looking episodes. It does. There are even some moments in this episode that didn't look that great, but as far as entertainment value goes and wrapping up this arc in a nice cool way, and that cool Naruto moment at the end where he stops on the tracks, this was just a solid addition to the series, and we can get hyped for the next arc of the series. It looks like we're going to have a few roadblocks along the way, but I'm sure we'll be getting there very soon. That being said, that's my thoughts on the episode. I'd love to hear all of yours, and you can tell me in the comments section below what you hope to see from the rest of the Boruto anime series and your general thoughts about this episode right here. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down, baby.